Sex and violence. Welcome to Aniview Reviews, where apparently we revel in sex and violence. We don't really, but who knows. Anyway, I am lead reviewer Mnemosyne12544, and this is our review of Rin, Daughters of Mnemosyne. And yes, that is how you pronounce it. We looked on Wikipedia. Thank you, Wikipedia, by the way. You guys are helpful. Anyway, Rin, Daughters of Mnemosyne, or Mnemosyne, or Rin, which we're going to call it now because that's so much easier, is a 6 OVA long, and I mean 45-minute OVA long, so it's more like a 12-episode anime series divided into 6 pieces, show which was broadcast on a channel called ATX, which explains a lot. Let me explain. You see, ATX are a channel which, in Japan, show uncensored anime. These can pretty much mean that it can have a lot of sex and violence. And that's okay. They're one of the few channels that are more than happy to display that kind of stuff. The problem is that, as you can guess, a lot of the stuff that they put out on the channel is very much, criticised as being sexploitational and gore porn. And therefore, Rin, Daughters of Mnemosyne, came out as a celebration of ATX. It was done for and exclusively for the ATX channel. So, for starters, if you're expecting anyone under 18 to be able to watch this, no, it goes there and it is dark. I mean, this is a seriously adult show. It's got tons of sex and tons of violence. Think of it a bit like a modern day Clockwork Orange. Probably be controversial, but in this case, no one knows about it, so that's okay. The government aren't going to pester us about this one. But just to say, it is violent and full of sex. How much can I repeat that? Anyway, Rin, Daughters of Mnemosyne, and I said I'd call it Rin, but I lied, is a show about immortals. And that's cool. And why? Because immortals live forever. And it's all about the burdens of living forever and the weird things of living forever. It's all about the downsides and occasionally the upsides. But pretty much it's a dark show with several tributes to styles of film noir and sci-fi about people who are immortal and the angels that hunt them down. You see, in this, the rules are that you get given these time fruits. You don't get given them, you can absorb a time fruit accidentally. It's just a matter of odds. And if you're female, you become immortal. If you're male, you get 2 weeks to live, but you get super strength, can fly, and also eat immortals to live. So basically, you keep extending your lifespan by killing all the immortal people. And the way that works is that whenever you're around immortals, they want to have sex with you, and you want to have sex with them while eating them. Well, I say they want to have sex with you. They're kind of their body sort of goes into sexual mode while you chomp on them while they scream that they really don't want this happening, but they don't really have much of a choice because they can't control themselves. So yes, as you can guess, it seems all sorts of exploitational here. Lots and lots of nudity and lots of blood go together to make an ultimately disturbing series that has all sorts of things to say about sex and the future and science fiction, and oh yeah, it's actually intelligent. You see, the thing a lot of people I think seem to find lost is that this is a show that revels in shock value. It does a lot of things to shock you, whether that be plot-wise or whether that be through just its pure imagery. Now, it's fair enough to say that a lot of people can't stomach this. So if you're not one for these sorts of things that have this much adult content in them, this immediately isn't for you. It's not one of those things that has bits. It basically is just adult content, serious stuff. I mean, that's not to say it doesn't have its fair share of things to say. It's got fantastic writing. Its writing is brilliantly done. Well, at least from what I saw from the subs. I do speak a bit of Japanese, but I use Japanese with English subtitles. Now, while there is a disagreement in how we believe in the reviews, if you want to hear what the English dubs are like, go to BS Anime Reviews. It's Bionic Slime. He has a differing opinion, but fair enough. Different reviews have different opinions, but he talks about the dub, and so if you're interested in dubs, go to him. He'll have a good review for you. I say good. It's bad against the show, but it's good in terms of talking about the dub. I love the show, though, and the reason I love the show is because of how it revels in shock value. You see, I'm not one who will give a show merit purely on the fact that it has lots of sex and violence. Okay, that's out of the question. I'm not going to give a show marks for that, but the style of it, the beautifully smooth animation, some very classy and well-timed music, some brilliant direction, some fantastic writing, which ends up taking place over about maybe century, half a century, so on. I mean, it's interesting. As sci-fi elements increase, as it goes further and further towards the future, so do fantasy elements, and the fact that you get to see a lot of characters very quickly, very well-written characters, you get to see them age, you get to see them, what they're like over pretty much their entire lives. And that's interesting, the intrigue between it, the constant conspiracies that are going on between different people. There's all sorts of interesting things here, and the fact is that if you are lost in the shock value, that's a perfectly reasonable response to hate this show, because there is nothing wrong with this show. It's just, can you stomach it? And if you can't, or if you find the material offensive, then it is a completely rational response to hate the show. You see, I absolutely love the show. I don't find anything necessarily wrong with it. Maybe it's because I'm used to stomaching this sort of adult content. I'm used to this sort of stuff. And that's fair enough. I have seen a lot of animes over my time, and I've seen a lot of film and all sorts. And so I've kind of got used to these sorts of things that try and shock me. It's fair to say a few of them do, and Rin definitely shocked me in a few places. It does a lot of things, but, it's fair to say that I do find sort of the ideas of it interesting. Personally, I actually think that, a lot of the whole things about, they become sexually active around them, it's more about the loss of inhibition than it is about the sex. But again, it goes there, and it can easily be considered exploitational. So if you can't really stomach that exploitational stuff, or if you think it's exploitational stuff, it's fair to say you probably won't get the enjoyment out of this. But if you're in the mood for something that's adult, and very adult, full of intrigue, full of conspiracy, interesting, well written, well scored, and very smoothly animated, you may enjoy this, and I very much enjoyed this. But again, it's all about whether you see it as exploitational or not. And I know that sounds like a really weird way to end a review, but that really is the case. If you see it as exploitational, you're not going to enjoy this. But if you can see it as, something that you find interesting in terms of the character psyche, and you enjoy sort of the psychology of the characters and how they hate their loss of inhibitions rather than the fact that they're having sex, maybe this is for you. I loved this show, and I admit that I was constantly shocked by some of the things I saw, but it never deterred me. I enjoyed it simply because it was almost fun reveling in it. I'm not saying that I'm, sadistic or anything, but it was interesting. It was cool. It had this sense of suavity. It's like film noir. Film noir is shocking when it was out. And this is kind of like that. It's that same shock value. It goes there. It's dark. It's full of sex and violence. But again, if you can stomach it, it's for you. If you're not a fan of this sort of thing, it's immediate no. Okay, it's not going to change your mind about exploitational things. But again, I think it's an interesting show. I think it has a wonderful plot, wonderful direction. I really enjoy the acting, animation. I just think it's a solid show. And, this is for you if you're in the mood for something adult, entertaining, and a little bit shocking. I'm Mnemosyne12544 from Aniview Reviews. Hope you enjoyed this review. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. What did you think about La-di-da-di-da Rin? Because I nearly forgot the name of it there. But what did you think about Rin, Daughters of Mnemosyne? There we go. have a barter in our comment section, and be sure to check Bionic Slime's review if you're interested in the English dub of the show. You know, he doesn't like the show, fair enough. He thought it was exploitational, like I said. But you know, if you're in the mood for another review of the show and you just want to give it a second chance or second guess just before you watch it, because it is shocking, or if you want to watch English dub, go see Bionic Slime. But again, what do you think about reviews? What are we talking about? What do you think about our review of Rin? There you go. Full of mistakes, this review. Hello. So you guys enjoy yourself. I'll see you next time for another fun review. See ya.